And this is going to add another layer, but it's not so much a deeper layer. It's actually more of a broader layer that kind of really is going to help you understand a little bit better kind of how your purpose is going to be fulfilled. And so what we're going to be talking about here is about the 4 quarters in the human design year.
Okay.
Human design reveals who you are energetically and who you came here to be. I'm Dana, human design specialist.
And I'm Haley, the human design newbie. Listen in as we explore how leaning into your authentic self is your ultimate path to success. Welcome to the Human Design Hive podcast. Let's get into it.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Human Design Hive podcast. As always, I'm your host, Dana Phillips, and with me is my wonderful, smiley, beautiful daughter, Haley. How are you doing, Haley?
Good, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Now, you know, Haley,
Yes.
on our work and other stuff, I do believe I have you listed as Haley Grooms. Are you Haley Grooms yet? Have you actually changed your identity now that you've been married a year? Happy anniversary, by the way. I forgot to wish you happy anniversary last week.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And everybody that's been with us all this time on this journey, oh my gosh, can you believe it's been a year? Which means, you know, this time last year, well, we had a lot going on. There was towards the end of this year, end of last year, I was doing a lot of recording by myself.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
Back to the original question. Who are you?
I think my name is Grooms now, but I don't have paperwork that proves it.
So you're just rolling around on old IDs and addresses, or I mean, you had to get a new address. I mean, you got a new driver's license, right?
No, I still have a South Carolina one. I mean, I think legally my name is Grooms, but I never got any confirmation. I really need to do that. I forget about it.
I know you don't leave your apartment a whole lot, but maybe you should think about it. You should consider it.
Yeah, I know. It's on my to-do list.
Well, anyways, whoever you are, you'll always be Haley Phillips to me. Always a Phillips, because you just can't get rid of some of those Phillips traits, which one of them, as we talked about before, is the 12 stages of goodbye as a Phillips. And Lakeland stopped by the other day, and she kept doing it. And she'd be like, we're on the couch, and then she'd get up and she'd say goodbye again. And it was like she didn't want to leave, and she kept saying goodbye. I was like, okay, quit bringing up a new topic every time you start to walk away. Let's just, let's cut the cord here.
Yeah.
And move on. And also, hopefully, they have not been testing the fire system in your apartment today.
Oh, they did.
We're running the risk. Oh, they did?
They did, yeah.
Oh.
From about 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., the fire alarm was going off. Because they had to go... They had to go into every single apartment in our building to check that the things were working. I don't really know if they went into ours because we were all sitting on the porch.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
Because I've been there when you guys first moved in. They were also testing the fire alarms, I guess.
Yeah, fire alarms.
System. And it was horrendous.
It's so loud.
It was so loud. My ears are very sensitive, and I did not like it.
Yeah, I mean...
And there was no escape that day.
No. We had nowhere to go.
Because I remember it was kind of cold. Is it cold there today?
No, it's like... I think it's gotten up to the 70s. It's been warm past couple days.
Must not be. I see you're wearing short sleeves.
Yes.
You're not all decked out.
No.
Well, I'm glad they already did
Yes.
that, so that won't interrupt our session today. Yeah. Anyways, so you've had the anniversary, and anything else from this week worth sharing?
No. Not on here.
That's good. Because, well, I feel like I had a lot going on this week, but maybe not. Maybe it's things I just can't talk about right now, but things running in the background, which is fun. And what we're talking about today has been running in the background for a while now of my awareness, and kind of excited to talk about it a little bit because it's building on our theme around purpose.
Okay. I like the idea of building on our theme of purpose.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people do. And this is going to add another layer, but it's not so much a deeper layer. It's actually more of a broader layer that kind of really is going to help you understand a little bit better kind of how your purpose is going to be fulfilled. And so what we're going to be talking about here is about the 4 quarters in the human design year.
Okay.
So when we know that the body graph that we see that has like the human shaped form, right, with all the centers in it, that is a visual representation of really the plotting out on the whole mandala wheel, right? We've talked about the mandala before, is kind of that component of astrology where it shows where the planets were, you know, like what astrological sign they were in, but also what human design gate, what hexagram of the I Ching it was also traveling throughout the year. And so there's 64 gates that the sun travels through, because we're talking about the sun gate here. Throughout the year, it travels through 64 gates. And so for each quarter of the year, the mandala there's going to be 16 gates grouped together. So 16, each quarter has 16 hexagrams, 16 gates in it that the sun is in. And so this is building on the whole purpose thing, because we know that your incarnation cross is determined by what?
It is determined by your conscious and unconscious sun and earth placements.
Typically, your gate or your incarnation cross is really determined by that one, or, you know, the gate, the sun gate of a personality side. So where the sun was on the day and moment you were born. And then there's going to be different variations of certain crosses, because we've said that if you say you're born in gate, we'll just use mine, gate 14, there's going to be the 3 variations of a cross. There's going to be a left angle cross with gate 14, a right angle cross with gate 14, and then the juxtaposition cross, because that 14 is going to go through all 6 hexagrams of gate 14, right? Does that make sense? So 14, if you look at your human design chart, whatever, you know, your chart says, if it's the sun gate, like I said, if it was my gate 14, if it were 14.1, 14.2, or 14.3, it's going to be a right angle cross. It's going to be a more interpersonal cross, meaning it's your own destiny is fulfilled, you know, through your own exploration. And that just said includes is in there. Don't ask us why, just is. The 4-1 is the juxtaposition cross. And then there's very few of the, or no, we won't go into that. And then I can always get so far down the road. And then if you have the 14.5 or 14.6, you're going to have a left angle cross, and that's going to be a transpersonal, meaning your destiny is involving other people. So we've talked about incarnation cross quite a bit. And what I started looking into and learning more about was these quarters in the year. And it's really, really, really interesting. So one thing you might have noticed as you start to look up your cross, because there are these different variations like I talked about, you might also see that some crosses have the different variations. So you might see, like, for example, right angle cross of consciousness 2. You know, it's like, well, where's the 2 come from? Right. You know, you might see it that it's the right angle cross of consciousness 3. You'll see all these, you know, you'll see that in 4. What it's talking about here is these quarters, meaning it's, if we think about, there's 4 gates, like you just said, that make up the incarnation cross, right? Right. So as the sun moves throughout the year, it's going to kind of switch the placement of where those gates are. So like the one, like I just mentioned, the right angle cross of consciousness. So this is going to be consisting of gates 63, 64, 5, and 35. Okay. At a different time of year, it's going to have those same gates, but in a different positioning. It'll be gate 35 first, then 5, 63, 64. And then at another time of the year, it's going to be 64, 63, 35, 5. And so as you see in the last quarter of the year, it's going to be 5, 35, 64. So it's using those same gates, but the emphasis is going to be a different
order.
Variation. Yeah, it's a different ordering of the cross and variation of those themes there because of which gate is being highlighted by the sun, depending on what time of the year. Yeah. And so it does, because we know that the sun gate has the most, your personality sun gate has the most influence in your chart because one way I was taught to look at it is that, you've got all these themes, all these traits, and they're kind of funneling all out through that one expression, almost like an upside down funnel, to where it's all going through that expression of that sun gate. That's because, it's the biggest influence on us. It has the most neutrinos coming our way because it's so big and so close to us.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Okay. So, okay, we've got that far in. Let's see how we can do this now. So anyways, because of those variations and it has the same gates, it will say, it has kind of the same name, but it will, there'll be a variation on the description of it. So what are these quarters then? Okay.
So I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So what was the one you were giving an example?
The right angle cross of consciousness.
Consciousness. So you said, so if it's consciousness 2, does that mean it's in the second quarter?
Second quarter.
Okay. And then 3, third quarter.
3 and 4. Okay. Yeah. So that's what we're going to just briefly explore today, not to bog everybody down with too much information. I hope I'll do my best. But so these 4 quarters each have their own themes and their own focuses during that quarter.
Okay.
Okay. So these 4 quarters are the quarter of initiation, quarter of civilization, quarter of duality, and the quarter of mutation. And I'll be honest, when I first saw these, I just thought, I don't need to know any of that shit. It looked like too much like math or too much technicality, because I'll show you how it kind of shows up on the mandala.
Do you feel like you were back in school?
Yeah. Okay. So basically what Ross said was that the program, the voice, the program, whatever, shows us that basically as we come into this world, as the personality crystal, which is us, comes into this world to start a new life, it goes through these stages, and that it shows us these 4 quarters, shows us that we're basically here to initiate, begin. We're here to build that civilization. We're here to bond, and then, which is duality, and then we're here to mutate or evolve until we die, and then it starts all over again.
Okay.
These themes are also highlighted as the sun transits through these gates every year, which I did an episode last year about how, in the human design year, it doesn't start till after the first of the calendar year. So what's interesting is that the start of each quarter begins when the sun highlights one of the 4 gates in the cross of the Sphinx, which we have done the cross of the Sphinx before. I think we've done 1 or 2 variations of it before. And so those gates are the 13, the 2, the 7, and the 1. That's the cross of the Sphinx. It's going to be a variation of those gates. Okay. You with me?
Yeah, I really want to know why the Sphinx.
Well, what we're going to do is I'm going to walk you through each quarter here and talk about what the theme is, and we'll just go from there. And you'll maybe it'll
answer my question.
Maybe it'll answer your question. Okay. Okay. So this is the first one. This is the quarter of initiation. Okay. And so the quarter of the initiation has the theme here of purpose fulfilled through the mind.
Oh, okay.
All right. So what does that mean? Well, this is purpose. If you were born under this quarter, which starts in gate 13 and goes through to gate 24, and I'll tell you what some of those gates are here in a second.
Wait, I have a question.
Your purpose is yeah.
So which way is the sun moving through these gates? Clockwise, counterclockwise?
It goes for, this would be counterclockwise, right? Counterclockwise.
Against a clock, yes.
Counterclockwise. Yes. So it's marching through time this way. You see it?
Okay. So it would go from 13 to 49.
Go from 13, going down.
Okay.
So you can see this is, what is that?
Is that Aquarius?
Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, right? So it's, you can see it's starting in February, March, April, into May.
So I was born under the quarter of initiation?
You were.
Okay.
Because your sun gate is in here. It's gate 63.
3?
Yeah.
The
63,
yellow one?
Right there.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. 63. Okay. So purpose fulfilled through thinking, educating, conceptualizing, explaining, sharing what it means to be alive in a body, in a form. So what does that mean? It means really it's through analyzing, sharing, explaining that your purpose in life. Now remember, when we're talking about purpose, this is like an overarching purpose here. This is the theme of your life. And whatever gate you're in, it's going to be around this idea. And no matter what else happens in your life, what is going to be most important and fulfilling for you if you're born in this quarter is about using the mind to really understand or delve into or explore what it means to be alive, what it means. It's concerned this quarter with, it's very interesting, it has all of the gates of the solar plexus here, which we're like, we don't normally associate that with the mind, right?
Right.
But it's all about feeling and because we are always thinking about how we feel, why we feel a certain way, why do we do this? Well, a lot of it's associated with feeling, right?
Yeah. Interesting.
And so, so it is, it contains all the gates of solar plexus except for one. Sorry, it doesn't contain gate 6, but it's all these other gates here. It all, so that's gate 36, 22, 37, 49, 55, and 30 are all here. Okay. It also contains gates in the will center. It has the full channel of initiation, which is the 25 and 51.
Makes sense.
So it has those gates. And those are, about the channel of initiation is about initiating into spirit, thinking about what does it mean, what wakes you up to spirit, what does that mean as a human person. And then it also has gates in the sacral, which represent obligation, completion, and innovation. So down here you've got gate 3, gate 3, gate 42, and gate 27.
Okay.
And then it also has your mental gates up here, 63, 24, and 17. And so a lot of this is associated with like why. Why do we do the things we do? Why are we here? What does it mean? It's all about using the mind. And obviously you use your mind. And it starts in gate 13, which is here in the G center. It connects to the throat. But the gate 13 is known as the Fellowship of Man. And it's also called the Gate of the Listener. And what's interesting here is, and I'm referencing the original, like traditional human design stuff here, the book, the traditional human design book, that Gate 13 provides continuity between the past and the future in its role as the listener. And so Gate 13, the listener, usually is about hearing the stories of other people. And the gate of the listener, and you'll see as we go through the quarters, it starts in this gate here, because even though, this is a cycle, even though we're talking about starting and ending and all this stuff, it's continuous. It keeps going on. And you'll see once we get through to the last quarter how it then passes into this gate. We were talking about the future and the past. It's this gate ensures that the important lessons, which can only be learned through experience, are held and cherished until the time is right for them to contribute understanding of itself, right? So this is more about this understanding. And then it ends in gate 24, which is up in the ajna, which is known as the return, and also as rationalization in traditional human design. And what's interesting is this is the gate, it connects to the 61 knowing, but this is that over and over kind of turning something over your head to try to understand it type of thing. And that's what they call it, the return. And then it like naturally like, aha, like I understand it. Right. And so it's, it returns to the same questions, same territory over and over again, pondering thought, and considers inspiring, reviewing it until it can be brought into form, which is very important because that's what moves on to the next realm is about, or the next quarter is about form. So you can see that if you were to look at all, which we're not going to do, I'm going to resist the urge to go through all the gates, all 16 of them and what they mean. You can do that research yourself. But basically, this is really all about being able to use that mental process to make meaning. And it also says that this means that your life has to be meaningful, which I think we all hopefully understand that. But it really is about understanding the experience and logic. There's a lot of logic analyzing all that in here. Okay. So as I said, the blessings, gate 24, talking about form, moves us into the next quarter of civilization. Let me go here for
Scroll, please. Next slide.
Next slide. Don't ask me what these realm of Dubé and all that other stuff is. I'm going to probably sound ignorant to other people that know this, and I don't. I decide to only take in so much at once.
So now it's the quarter of civilization.
Quarter of civilization, which you can see here, it's also in Taurus. So that's in May, roughly. May, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, and then Leo. Yes, Leo. Okay.
I don't know any of those.
So this is...
Not based on the symbols or the order they go in. So I'm impressed.
I'll tell you, a lot of the order I learned in astrology, actually, this is going to sound, is through people that I know, associating. I know when their birthdays are, what time of year. Yeah, because like you're Pisces. I know my sister was born in April, and Ian also, Taurus, April into May. I do know an Aries, or I did. I don't know too many Aries. We don't really get along. Gemini is my rising sign. I have a friend who was Cancer. I have a friend Leo. Well, my one friend group, we had birthdays in order with Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio. So I associate people. Anyways, sorry, sidebar. Okay, so I'm always making connections. So this one here is about... Did I mention the mystical theme of the last one, the witness returns? I said that, didn't I? Did I say that?
I don't recall you saying mystical.
This is what it says in, because you're going to like the theme of this next one. So we talked about purpose fulfilled through mind for initiation. And the mystical theme is the witness returns, which is just what I was talking about the whole, like, you know, dropping back in person, you know, the cycle of life kind of thing. The witness returns, and it's observing, right? We were talking about the mind, observing, making sense, all that stuff.
Yep.
So quarter 2, the quarter of civilization, is purpose fulfilled through form. And I love this mystical theme is the womb to the room, womb to room.
Oh, like, what? Okay. What?
But basically,
first of all, it's a mouthful.
It's funny when you think about it. But it's talking about coming into form from the womb inside, all the preparation, you know, of coming into life. And then you're in the room. You're here in human form. You're in the room.
It sounds like some bad TV show.
Yeah. Well, no, it's just traditional human design. So, so purpose fulfilled through form. And so these people born under these gates are really all about bringing life into form. Okay, being in a body, creating, making things, doing things, building things. And what's interesting here is in this quarter, all of the throat gates are in this quarter. Did you notice that? I was just
noticing that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's if your sun is in gate 62, 23, 56, 35, 12, 45, 33, 8, 31, 20, or 16. I mean, the throat gate, the throat center has most gates in the whole thing, got a lot of right? Gates. So that right, yeah, that right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, yeah, I thought it was 11. I just want to make sure. That right there is 11 of the 16, you know, hexagrams here is in the throat. And so it's, if you think about communication as primary, and we know that the throat center's theme is what?
It's communication. It's communicating. Storytelling.
And
I don't know.
And if you have a gate connected, if you have a motor connected to it, that makes you a
manifester or manifesting generator.
Yeah, manifesting, bringing into form.
And we know there it is.
Yeah, there it is. We know that, you know, all the energy in the chart we talk about is trying to get to the throat. Yeah, to bring it out. And so that's what the themes in this quarter is about that. And so if you were born in this quarter, it is, you're really someone who is here to bring into form, to manifest. What's interesting is, you know, the purpose here is manifesting this movement of spirit into form, and it starts in gate 2. The quarter starts in gate 2, which is the most yin gate, right? It's the gate of receiving. And it says this quarter, there is a lot of yin energy here. And so it's really about, and I am referencing heavily on the text here because these are some concepts that take some time to really grasp. And I think the original here helps explain it pretty well. And so basically this is about really the differentiation and perfecting of the individual skill to benefit the whole. And interestingly enough, it says it's also about the essential role or position of women in particular in creating a civilization and creating a environment that's safe for children and for everyone, and the sharing and supporting and empowering of the full scope of humanity's potential to express its intelligence. So expressing the intelligence, that's what you're talking about, that last quarter, that initiation. Yeah. And so basically, you know, if you were talking about, you know, well, what does this mean, a theme throughout the year? If the first quarter would be more about about planning and preparing and really getting clear on, you know, that gate 13, the storyteller is also the gate of that narrative of like, what do you want to create? Like getting very clear on it and specific about it, so that as the energy moves into the next quarter, which is this quarter we're talking about here, civilization, this is when you can start building the structures, because this is the energy here is the energy of building civilizations, communities, structures, all these things that help really support the form, the body, what we need so that everybody can thrive. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. The quarter of initiation is like building the blueprint, like refining the blueprint, getting it real good. And then quarter of civilization starts to create it and bring it forth.
Yeah. So that's that quarter. So if you're born under that quarter, like I said, you're someone who is, you're going to feel most fulfilled in that role of creating, manifesting, bringing things into form. And it can be, like I said, it could be actual material things. There's a lot of that, but also the like building, like I said, communities and things like that is also present. A lot of creativity there. So, and it's also about, there's a lot of the physicality of experiencing life through the body in that. So, because we're here, okay? And so that, I said, started in gate 2 and ends in gate 33. Which 33?
Is that in the root?
No, 33, no, because, no.
This thing's really hard to read.
Yeah. Yeah, well, when you're looking at it, when we're recording, hopefully you'll be able to see a little bit better. It won't be so blown up looking. But gate 33 is the gate of retreat, gate of privacy. And what's interesting here, gate 33.
What is it reaching towards?
The G center.
Okay.
So the retreat here is kind of like the need to be alone, to kind of process the experience in a way. So it's that moment in between, like the completed experience and a new one. And on the other end of that 33 is the gate 13 that was in the the first quarter. So basically it's taking the experience of being in form and understanding what it means to the individual as it prepares to share it with the collective, which is going to bring us on to the next quarter, as we see now, which is the quarter of duality. And the quarter of duality is purpose fulfilled through bonding. Okay. Okay. So the quarter of duality is purpose fulfilled through bonding. So we've basically taken the ideas, the concepts, we've brought it into the body, into the form. And the next logical step is to then, bring other people in. Okay. And so this is all about living life, meeting others, relationships, purpose fulfilled through other people, through bonding. And if you're born in this quarter, you really do have to have people in your life to help you fulfill your purpose, meaning you'll feel most fulfilled by having people in your life. Okay.
Yeah.
And so it starts again, like we said, it starts there in Leo, and then it goes into Virgo, Libra, and Scorpio. Okay.
Okay.
So we're moving from basically the summer months like August into November, or beginning of early November.
Yeah, it looks to be. They look to be like they're split roughly half of the month based on this graphic.
Yeah. Well, and we know it's not going to be exact because it's the, sun
Things
moving
are moving
roughly every 6 days. Yeah. So what's interesting here is if you notice this one, it encompasses all the gates of the spleen.
I did see that.
Okay. And so what that tells us is that we know that the spleen center, even though it's intuition, it's the instinct, it's survival, and it's our well-being. And so what it tells us that in this quarter of duality, with all those gates being included there, is that our survival, our well-being depends on the quality of our relationships and what we learn through our relationships. So those gates in the spleen, for those of you who don't have a visual, aren't looking at this right now. If you want to have a visual later on, you can go on YouTube and look at it. It'll be on YouTube. So the gates in the spleen are the 48, the 57, the 44, the 50, 32, 28, and 18. Right? Okay. And so it also contains the 59-6, which connects the sacral over to the solar plexus. And the reason for that is because this is pretty much, the channel is called mating. It's about creating relationships and bonds.
I knew it was
for survival.
I knew that the 6 was part of that. I couldn't remember exactly what it was, but it makes sense that it's in this one and not in initiation with the rest of the solar plexus.
Right. And what's interesting is gate 6 is known as it's called, I refer to as conflict. I don't know. Let me see what the traditional human design is. It friction, I think. Traditional human design name is, gate of friction, gate of conflict. And what this shows us is that, again, there's that mating aspect there, the bonding, but also when we think about conflict, it's in the emotional solar plexus. It shows us that really there's going to be conflict in our relationships. Not all relationships are just perfect. It is learning how to be together, how to bond, and to know what's worth fighting for. We've got that, the 28 there in the spleen, and 18, taking that, learning how to, what's worth refining and what's worth all these things, right? This is all about our relationships. And then also it has way up here in the head, it has a 6447, and which you have that channel, although it's, not obviously you weren't born in this quarter.
Right.
And the gate 4. And so that there is the 6447 is channel abstraction. And that gets its clarity through experience. And so a lot of times there is a lot of confusion in that gate because there's not a lot of understanding right away. It usually takes time to gain clarity about the experience, about what it is that is going to need to be shared with the collective, that aha to bring forward to share with other people. And then it also has gate 40 here in the will center, which is, the material will center. We talk about the material resource all the time, but it's pointing towards the emotional solar plexus. And it is part of this channel, which is the channel 3740, channel of community. And so, but it's not the full channel. It's just the 40. Sorry. There, why it's in this quarter is because this gate is about resources for the tribe, for the community. And it is the energy willing to work and to exert your willpower to provide for the family or the community. But also there's a reciprocal quality there too, where you also require them to, take care of you. You'll take care of them. You take care of me. So you see, it's very much about the energy of relationships and bonding is that aspect. And that's why it's that one gate of the will center there is in that quarter.
Okay.
Also, the channel of discovery is there as well. And that's also this part of this. The channel of discovery is about going through the experience to see what can be learned. And that's learning the worth, it's worth having the conflicts and all the compromises and things that you need, the quality relationships. So that's what that's about. Okay. And so it starts in gate 7 and ends in gate 44. 4. And then you move on to the last quarter, which is the quarter of mutation, which is the quarter I was born under. And that starts in gate 1 in Scorpio. And then it goes through Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricorn, over to Aquarius.
I have no idea what Presley is. I'm going to guess Capricorn. He's January. Is that Capricorn?
Yeah, he's Capricorn.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so you guys were both
his
born in this. I don't know what his is.
Yeah. Oh, I'm looking at Sagittarius. His is 54.
54.
His sun gate's in 54.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that? Is it the root?
54 is in the root. Yeah. So the quarter of mutation is really about, we talk about mutation a lot in human design, and it's the quarter of transformation. So it's purpose fulfilled through transformation. So really there's a theme here about accepting death. And when I first read this, I'm like, well, of course, because I'm a Scorpio and they're always talking about death. If you're a Scorpio, they're always associating with death and rebirth, really. And so this quarter, there's this push, this energy to mutate. And you're here for the transformation of yourself, for the transformation of others. You are really fulfilled through seeing transformation in people or communities or businesses. So what's interesting is that these people, the transformation here, the mutation, really is about people that feel that they come in with this awareness of death. There's this theme of death. I mean,
Lovely.
These are very themes. These are themes, right? And so, I mean, what is death? Like you said, you're going, oh, lovely. That seems so blah, 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 right?
But really, it's a transformation. It is.
It is a transformation. But also, ask anybody who's had a near-death experience, they'll tell you that it wakes them up to life, really. And that, or if someone has an illness that is life-threatening, it is what is really worth living. Am I living my fullest expression of my life? Am I being the fullest expression of who I can be and what I came here to do? And so there's this theme here in this quarter about that is, are you living life 100%? Are you being authentically yourself? And so the purpose here is fulfilled through attaining your full potential for transformation and awareness. And it's about accepting death and surrendering to what life is, with an understanding that once you've accomplished your purpose, it's time to move on. And so it's very succinctly summed up for me in the sentence that I read that says, if you have lived correctly, you will die correctly.
Oh. Okay.
Why don't you get that tattooed? A life well lived, right?
Yeah.
And so what you'll see in this quarter, what I noticed right away is that there's a lot of individual circuitry here. There's going to be, you see these gates starting up here at 61, these individual gates. You've got the 61 and then the 43, the 14 down here, and the 60. There's also the 3410, which is this channel here, and the integration network, which is the channel of exploration. That's following one's own convictions. That's like having the power to do what you want to do. The love of self right there in the gate 10.
Okay.
And as I said, it starts in gate 1, which is known as the creative. And this is the fullest expression of the individual's creative energy. And, making sure that whatever it is you're doing or creating is all about your individual authentic expression. And so, yeah. So,
makes sense that gate's in the G center.
G center. You also see there's other G center. You'll see there's also these other sacral gates here, providing that sacral response, which the sacral response we know is following what is right and correct for you.
Right.
And also you have the root, most of the gates of the root center, a large portion of them in this quarter also. And that's, providing that pressure, that adrenalized energy for momentum for living and for manifesting. So, That's the overarching themes there. And so if you see how I was saying how it ends in gate 19 here, you notice the theme where the quarter ends, it kind of, prepares for the themes of the next quarter. Did you have a question? You sound like you had a question.
No,
maybe you're just breathing on the intake.
You scrolled down so I can't see the...
Oh.
Sorry. So gate 9. Is that what you said? 9? No, 19.
19. Gate 19, which is a gate of approach, gate of wanting. It's known as, being sensitive. And it says, one of the themes in that gate 19 is bringing awareness to others of what resources are needed for everyone to survive, as well as thrive and achieve their personal or communal potential. So that, again, is that theme there of, are you being fully authentic? Are you playing through? And then if you notice, then if it starts all over again in gate 13, we talked about the listener and the narrative. So you take all those themes of living that life well, so you can die correctly, as we said. And so that when it, comes back around again, gate 13 picks it up again. Listen. What did we learn? Yeah. What was learned? What do we know? What does it mean? What are we going to tell the new story? So again, like I said, if you were, thinking of this as a yearly theme in your journey throughout life, you could see how it's important to know kind of what's happening in these quarters, what to focus on, and kind of help plan and know that you're working with the correct energy at the correct time of the year for what it is you want to be having, achieve or go on. Does that make sense? I kind of floundered on the delivery of that sentence.
No, I don't think you did. No, it was... Yeah.
So that's it in a nutshell. I'm trying to think if I left anything out there that I wanted to kind of explore. But did you have any other questions about that?
I don't think so.
So now when you look at, anybody out there looking at your incarnation cross, say you have the, let me just pick one. Say you have, I'm going to do a little, pick one. So you have the right angle.
What?
Right. I went right back to the one that we did the first time.
Oh.
So say you were born under the right angle cross of laws 2. So you would know that's in quarter 2. Your sun is in gate 56. So that means you're born under the quarter of civilization. So your purpose, whatever everything else in your chart is trying to inform you, it's going to be that you're somebody that's here to really be fulfilled through the form, through the actual physical world of what it means to come in. Yeah. Likewise, if you were born under the right angle cross of Maya 3, let's say, that's actually what we're under right now. I think it's switching over here soon, gate 32. And so you would know that you were born at this time of year, October, kind of, sort of, the gate 32. But anyways, because, the gates don't go around the mandala in order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're all jumbled up, as we can see. But this could help, I think, when you're, seeing it, that you could understand a little bit better when you see that 2, 3, or 4 extra cross. You're like, oh, okay, I understand now. So
that's definitely helpful.
Yeah. But also for yourself when you're thinking, which makes sense to, I don't know, does it make sense to you? Does it resonate to you to know that everything that there's this kind of overarching theme in your life is going to be about using the mind and finding meaning? Does that resonate with you?
It does. It makes sense for me because also I just have I have all the head gates. So I am just very much in my head a lot and in my mind. It does make sense to me that I am in the quarter of initiation about going through things with your mind and stuff like that because I am just so heavily in my mind a lot. So it does give more insight on the fact that okay, there's a reason for this. I mean, there's a reason, but it's it just gives another lens to look through.
Yeah, likewise, to know that also you don't have to really necessarily worry about, is my purpose going to be fulfilled through necessarily building or bonding or whatever, transforming. No, it's like, I think just from you, knowing you, there is this like desire to make meaning out of things. Like, what does it mean? Like, I know you're always questioning. Obviously, you have, your sun gate is gate 63. It's all about questioning. So you are always there trying to ruminate and think and understand. So there is a lot of that there. And then, like, I know someone that always comes to mind that's in the quarter of civilization of the building, right? And I know that this person really loves to actually create things, like not necessarily building buildings or anything, but is always creating, making things, wanting to be creative. Also, building community. All these things are very important to her. And then I have another friend I know born in the quarter. I have more than a couple friends, but they just spring to life because I feel like these people are like epitome of help me understand these themes. Who was born in the quarter of duality, who throughout our couple decade long friendship, a lot of the focus in her life has been about her relationships and what's happening. And she feels, the best when those people in her life are doing well and the relationships are doing well. That is very important to me. And as much as I love people with all the line 4 and everything, it's not the main focus as far as feeling fulfilled. Obviously, I'm born in a quarter of mutation, and hearing the whole, like, I can understand it, what it feels like to understand, to be fulfilled through this whole process of transformation. Obviously, I'm all about it. I've spent my whole life trying to understand and evolve and grow and transform, right? And so I think it's really interesting. So I hope everybody else found it interesting too. Yeah. So, any other thoughts?
Nope.
So that means we're going to wrap it up with our incarnation cross of the week. And today we have...
Drumroll.
The left angle cross of defiance. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, so the left angle cross of defiance, what does that tell you, first of all, Haley? Left angle means?
Left angle means it is a 5 or a 6 line.
That's right. The personality sun is going to be in line 5 or line 6.
So
and
I have a question.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
A left angle is only ever a 5 or a 6, no 4.
Correct.
Okay.
So it's 5-1, 5-2, 6-3, 6-2, 6-3.
Okay.
So there's going to be, less of them. This one in particular, the left angle cross of defiance, consists of gate 2 in the personality sun, gate 1 in personality earth. And then on the other side, gate 49 in the design sun, and gate 4 in the design earth.
So based on the fact that it has no number after its name, it's the first quarter?
You bring up a very good point.
Okay.
Not so with the left angle crosses.
Okay.
With the left angle crosses. Okay. Let's see if we can do this quickly.
I always do this.
It's okay. It's okay. So each gate is going to have 3 variations of the gate for a cross. Now, the right angle cross is going to have the 2 and the, so they are all going to have the 2 and the 1 in the right angle, the juxtaposition, and the left angle, because they all have to start with the 2. Okay, for this gate in particular. For this cross in particular. Okay. That we're talking about. They all start with gate 2. So it's 3 variations of the sun being in gate 2.
So this cross of defiance, every single variation starts with a 2. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Gate 2. Gate 2 has 3 variations. It has the right angle cross of the Sphinx 2, because it's in quarter 2.
Okay.
The juxtaposition cross here is the cross of the driver, also starts with gate 2. And then the left angle cross of defiance starts with gate 2. So here's the distinction. So I know we went off the recording the other day. I was explaining this to you. Remember, these are moments in time, and it's always moving. It's always moving. And so the right angle cross of a gate is going to have the same sun and earth, personality sun and earth gates as the juxtaposition and the left angle. However, it has different design gates, has different,
like completely different gates from those other angles.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I could probably do a whole video on just trying to explain how the time marches on. Because remember, the right angle cross is the 1, the 2, the 3, and part of the 4. Juxtaposition is 4. And so you see it goes from 4-6 to 4-1.
Yes.
So that means those design gates are flipping over to new gates.
Yes.
Right? So therefore, of any gate, incarnation cross, the juxtaposition cross and the left angle cross are going to have the same personality and design gates.
Same gates, different orders. But
no.
Oh, no. Shit.
Let me explain this to you once more. It's okay. It's hard to see it. I get it. Gate 2. Okay. The incarnation crosses that contain gate 2 in the sun position. Okay.
Yes.
The right angle cross here, which means you have a profile that starts with a 1, a 2, or a 3, and the 4-6. These are gates 2 and 1. And then on design side, 13 and 7. That is the 13, right angle 7. Cross of the Sphinx too. Okay. Second quarter. Then, because time marches on and it's flipping over, we still have the line 4 in the personality sun. So gate 2, line 4. But then the design gates on the other side start in a new position. With new gates. It just flips over to the next gate. So that would mean you become a 4-1, and then you become, after that, it goes 5-1, 5-1, 5-2, 6-2, 6-3. And then, okay. Does that make more sense? I get it. You're like everybody out there right now going, just tell us what the cross is. But I'm going to make sure everybody understands this one day, because I think it's important.
You're here to teach us. That's why we're here.
So the juxtaposition cross here with this gate 2. Okay. It goes gate 2 and 1, still the same. 2 sun, 1 earth, but it moves into gate 49 on the design side, 49 and 4, and then the left angle is also 49 and 4. So the juxtaposition in the left angle cross of any, gate here, they're going to have the same gates, same 4 gates. The right angle cross is going to have different design gates, just because the
time marches on. Yes, I understand that. It's just
therefore, yes, there's going to. So what you're originally asking was the left angle cross of defiance. Since it didn't have a number after it, does that mean it's in the first quarter? No. Okay, it doesn't. Just the right angle crosses have that 1, 2, 3, or 4 because that's the lead gate. In gate, the lead gate with 1 profile. Get it? 1, 2, 3 profile. You don't get it. That's fine. We'll see how much I have to cut out.
I get parts of. I think I get it, and then I'm not sure. So, but I feel like I understand it. I understand it better in this explanation than in the one from last week off mic. So,
well, I think you understand it better because you have the context now of the quarters, right?
Yeah, but it is also just a little bit difficult for me to remember all of the gates in the orders that you're telling me.
Trust me, I get it. I'm seeing it. I can see it in front of me. So.
If we were sitting right next to each other and you could write it down for me and we could do it that way, I think I'd get it, no problem.
Yeah. So let's just move on to what this gate.
What's the cross? What this cross is. Everyone's screaming, "Thank you!"
Right. Okay. Well,
what do we got? What is it? Defiance.
The left angle cross of defiance. We're talking starting gate 2. So this is someone that is born in that quarter of civilization.
Wait, is it left angle or right angle?
left angle because it's a left angle, cross of
Okay.
defiant. Okay. You know, what's funny is I know somebody with this cross, and if she's listening right now, she's like, get to the cross.
Okay, I'm just gonna be quiet and just let you read this cross.
Don't ask me any more than mine questions. Don't try to make all the meaning today.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay. So if this is your cross, you are here to be a role model for others, helping them to live in complete harmony with their true purpose in a consistently authentic way. You have a unique ability to recognize the potential in others, offering them innovative solutions that can help them transform and heal, especially in terms of their self-worth. This process opens them up to the abundance and support that the universe has to offer. Your role includes not only teaching and leading, but also living in alignment with your true, authentic purpose. Your purpose also involves challenging the established order or the status quo or the prevailing norms in order to bring about change. You defy conventions and introduce superior principles and solutions that demonstrate different paths and the uniqueness of each individual's journey. Your presence is a catalyst for transformation and inspires others to recognize the potential for a different, more fulfilling way of doing things. Dun, dun,
Okay.
dun.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're always so good. They're always so good.
So, anyways. Okay. There we go. Whew. We made it through, Haley.
We did
Thanks
it.
for hanging in there. And for everybody else hanging in there. I will be interested to see how much that makes sense when I go back and listen to it again, if I have to cut it all out or not. You're like, it's too confusing.
I hope not, because it was good content, I feel like.
I think so. Like I said, if, you know, maybe I'll put a disclaimer in there, like, sidebar, get out a chart and look at it now.
A visual aid will help with the next section of this podcast.
Yeah. Well, I think really, because we don't do it a lot in human design and talking about it, even showing, you know, going through people's charts and doing readings and stuff. We're not really looking at the mandala. We're just looking at the representation of the mandala on the Bodygraph, because that helps us see our own individual energy. But I think when you look at it in the context, you can see the geometry, you can see the science and the math behind it, how these themes in the sun, how it just marches throughout the year, and there's this perfect symmetry. You know, the cross, when you look at it on the mandala, it is a literal cross. It's your sun and earth gates, you know, on either side of the wheel with each other. And so it's really cool. When you look at it that way, it might make more sense. But you know, we'll take another stab at it another day, maybe. I'll learn some more.
Maybe not next week. We'll give a break.
Probably not next week, but we'll get there. But it was fun.
Yeah.
I like digging into it. So, all right, Haley. Well, you have a good rest of your night. And I appreciate you being here, and I appreciate everybody else listening. And until next time, bye for now.
And we appreciate you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Well, you made it all the way to the end of today's episode, so you must have liked what you heard. If you did, make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode, and perhaps leave us a good review. And if you know someone who wants to dig into all things human design with us, make sure you share the Human Design Hive podcast with them. We'd really appreciate it. Thanks for listening.